Welcome to an exploration of the surprising environmental impact of digital art. While NFTs have revolutionized how artists sell and authenticate their work, they've also created an unexpected ecological dilemma. Today, we'll dive into the paradox of how a seemingly immaterial art form is generating very real environmental consequences, examine the technologies driving this impact, and look at how artists and platforms are responding to this growing sustainability challenge. The digital art revolution promised a world free from physical resources, no canvases, paints, or shipping emissions. Artists could create entirely within the digital realm, sharing their work globally without the material constraints of traditional art. Yet paradoxically, this virtual art market has developed a substantial ecological footprint through blockchain technology, specifically non-fungible tokens or NFTs. These digital certificates of ownership have exploded in popularity, but their environmental impact remains poorly understood by most collectors and creators. What was supposed to be a dematerialized creative economy has instead challenged our very understanding of sustainable creative practices in the digital age. While digital art itself requires minimal resources to create and view, the blockchain technology that authenticates NFT ownership is extraordinarily energy-intensive. The Ethereum network, which hosts the majority of art NFTs, currently operates on a proof-of-work consensus mechanism that demands massive computational power. The numbers are staggering. A single NFT transaction on Ethereum can consume as much electricity as the average American household uses in 4.5 days. Recent research from the University of Cambridge puts this in perspective, estimating that minting a single NFT artwork generates approximately 90 kilograms of CO2, equivalent to driving 220 miles in a typical passenger vehicle. On a larger scale, the Ethereum network consumes roughly 44.94 terawatt-hours of electricity annually, comparable to the entire country of Qatar. This isn't an accident or inefficiency. It's built into the system. The computational redundancy that makes these networks secure is the very thing driving their extraordinary energy demands. To understand the scale of this energy consumption, consider artist Kyle MacDonald's 2022 analysis. He found that a typical NFT collection launch might consume energy equivalent to the lifetime electricity use of 5 average American homes. But not all NFTs have the same impact. The carbon intensity varies dramatically by region. An NFT minted using computing power from coal-heavy areas like Inner Mongolia generates nearly 4 times the emissions of one processed in Quebec, where hydroelectric power predominates. This geographic lottery creates an invisible variation in environmental impact that most collectors never see. The environmental impact extends beyond direct energy consumption. The mining hardware supporting these networks requires rare earth minerals and sophisticated semiconductor technology, creating additional extraction impacts in electronic waste streams. A 2023 study by environmental researcher Suzanne Kohler revealed that the average mining rig has a functional lifespan of just 18 to 24 months before becoming obsolete. This rapid turnover generates an estimated 34 kilotons of electronic waste annually from Ethereum mining operations alone. This creates a complete lifecycle environmental impact that includes not just energy use, but resource extraction, manufacturing emissions, and waste management challenges. This environmental reality has created a profound ethical dilemma for digital artists. Many were drawn to digital creation precisely because it avoided the material waste of traditional art mediums like oils, acrylics, and physical canvases. Now these same artists must reconcile their environmental values with the carbon-intensive reality of selling their work as NFTs. This conflict has led to powerful personal reckonings. A prominent digital artist, Joni Lemercier, canceled an NFT release in February 2023 after discovering that 6 pieces he had previously sold consumed more electricity than his entire studio had used in the preceding 2 years. This revelation sparked what he called an existential crisis about his participation in the NFT ecosystem. Artists find themselves torn between economic opportunity and environmental ethics in ways they never anticipated. In response to these environmental concerns, artists have developed creative solutions. Digital artist Beeple, who sold an NFT for a record-breaking $69 million in 2021, has pledged to make his future NFTs carbon neutral or negative through investment in renewable energy projects and carbon offset purchases. While critics question the effectiveness of offsets, this represents an attempt to address the issue within the existing system. Beyond individual actions, collective initiatives have also emerged. Organizations like the Blockchain Art Coalition are developing community standards for environmental disclosure and mitigation strategies, creating a framework for responsible participation in the NFT ecosystem. These efforts represent artists trying to transform the system from within rather than abandoning it entirely. The dilemma extends beyond individual creators to institutional participants. Museums entering the NFT space, such as the British Museum with its digital Hokusai collection, face scrutiny over whether their sustainability commitments align with blockchain participation. Cultural institutions must balance innovation with their responsibility as cultural stewards. This tension is highlighted by cultural theorist Anil Dash, who ironically helped create the first conceptual NFT artwork in 2014. He has become a vocal critic of the environmental consequences of the technology's mainstream implementation. In his widely cited essay, "NFTs Weren't Supposed to End Like This," he argues that the original vision of artist empowering digital provenance has been corrupted by speculative excess and environmental disregard. Institutions now navigate this complex terrain, weighing cultural relevance against environmental responsibility. The environmental critique has accelerated technical solutions within the blockchain community. The most significant development is Ethereum's transition to a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism through an upgrade called the merge. This change promises to reduce the network's energy consumption by approximately 99.95%, fundamentally transforming the environmental equation of NFTs. Instead of requiring massive computational work to validate transactions, proof-of-stake systems use financial stakes as security, dramatically reducing energy requirements. Several alternative NFT platforms have emerged specifically addressing environmental concerns before Ethereum's transition. Tezos, for example, already uses proof-of-stake and requires approximately 2 million times less energy than Ethereum. A single transaction on Tezos produces roughly 0.00054 kilograms of CO2 compared to Ethereum's 90 kilograms, a reduction so dramatic it's difficult to visualize. Flow, the blockchain developed by Dapper Labs, has likewise prioritized energy efficiency while maintaining blockchain technology's security and decentralization benefits. Its proof-of-stake consensus model uses validator nodes to process thousands of transactions per second with minimal energy overhead. Technical innovations beyond consensus mechanisms are also addressing the energy challenge. Layer 2 scaling solutions like Polygon and Immutable X allow multiple NFT transactions to be bundled and validated collectively, amortizing the energy cost across hundreds or thousands of operations. This is like carpooling for blockchain transactions, sharing the environmental cost across many users. The Palm NFT Studio, co-founded by film producer David Heyman, employs a variation called a sidechain that claims to be 99.9% more energy efficient than standard Ethereum transactions while maintaining compatibility with the main Ethereum ecosystem. Looking further ahead, researchers at Tezos have proposed more radical approaches, including specialized hardware explicitly designed for NFT validation. These systems could reduce energy requirements by orders of magnitude compared to the general-purpose computing systems currently employed. These technical solutions represent the blockchain community's response to environmental criticism, seeking to preserve the benefits of the technology while dramatically reducing its ecological footprint. The environmental impact of NFTs has begun influencing market behavior in significant ways. ArtStation, a popular online marketplace for digital artists, canceled its NFT platform launch within hours of announcement after facing massive backlash from environmentally conscious artists and collectors. This demonstrated the power of community values to shape platform decisions. Conversely, platforms emphasizing sustainability are gaining traction. Known Origin, Super Rare, and Foundation have all implemented carbon offset programs, while newer marketplaces like AsyncArt are building directly on energy-efficient blockchains from the ground up. As awareness grows, the market is developing a bifurcated response. Premium NFT art continues trading on Ethereum despite environmental concerns, while a growing segment of environmentally conscious creators and collectors migrates to greener alternatives. This split mirrors broader tensions in contemporary art between market-driven practices and ethical considerations. Consumers are increasingly factoring environmental impact into their purchasing decisions, creating market pressure for greener solutions. The long-term environmental impact of digital art NFTs remains uncertain. If Ethereum's transition to proof-of-stake succeeds, the entire conversation may shift dramatically. Until then, this invisible environmental cost accumulates with each digital artwork that changes hands in the metaverse. The NFT environmental question ultimately transcends technology. touching on fundamental issues of value, materiality, and responsibility in digital culture. As digital art historian Charlotte Kent notes, the paradox of NFTs is that they've made us reconsider the material consequences of digital actions we long assumed were immaterial. This reconsideration may prove to be one of the most valuable contributions of the NFT movement, regardless of how the technology evolves. The debate forces us to confront the reality that all human activities, even digital ones, have environmental consequences that must be accounted for and minimized. The NFT environmental dilemma represents a crucial moment in our digital evolution. What began as a technological innovation in digital ownership has forced us to confront the material reality of our virtual actions. The staggering energy consumption of proof-of-work blockchains reveals that nothing in our digital world exists without physical consequences. Yet the response to this challenge demonstrates humanity's capacity for adaptation. From artists changing their practices and platforms implementing offsets to the fundamental redesign of blockchain technology through proof-of-stake, we're witnessing a rapid evolution towards sustainability. The most profound legacy of the NFT environmental controversy may not be the technology itself, but how it shattered our illusion of immaterial digital existence. As we move forward, this awareness will shape not just how we create and collect digital art, but how we evaluate the environmental impact of all our digital activities. In making visible what was previously invisible, NFTs have given us an opportunity to build a more sustainable digital future with our eyes wide open to its real-world costs. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for updates. Your feedback is appreciated. We hope to see you again.